name's JR, and I'll be teaching you how to ride a Segway today. This here is a Segway. It's invented by a guy named Dean Kamen. He's alive and well, and his most recent invention is a wheelchair that goes upstairs. Every Segway comes with an electronic key, and when you turn it on, you'll hear a noise. And that is the noise of gyroscopes. There was the noise. Now, you're probably curious, why isn't the Segway working now? Well, it's not in what's called balance mode. And it's in balance mode once it's turned on and the gyroscopes are now active. And you activate it by putting a little weight on the Segway. And now it acts just as a normal Segway should. Now the reason it's coming back to me is because of the weight of the bag plus the T handlebar in the front of the Segway. It puts weight at the front of the Segway, and the Segway thinks, okay, well the person's leaning forward, so what it does is it goes forward to counteract that. Now to stand on a Segway, what you'll do is you'll stand behind the Segway and you'll place both hands on the T handlebar, and you'll step up just as if it's a step. Now, if you're riding Segways here at Corpus Christi at Seg City, we'd like for you to help you on and off the Segway at all times. Now, as our chart here explains, to go forward, you'll lean forward, and to go backwards, you'll lean backwards. What I'm going to do is simply go forward, and this is the same leaning. It's leaning as a committed lean. That's what I like to call it. You're leaning as if you're actually going to fall forward, but you won't fall forward. So you'll lean forward, and you'll stop, and you'll lean backwards. Now, a common thing is many people think this is leaning forward. That's not. That's hunching over, and that'll actually just probably give you a backache the whole ride. What you want to do is lean as if you're about to take a step forward, and that's what's confusing for a lot of people. So you actually take a step forward, and that's how you lean. And it's in the heels and the toes in your stance. That's how the Segway really senses where you're going. And now for that reasoning, that the faster you lean in any direction, the faster you will go. So you can end up going pretty quickly on a Segway. These Segways here, which are the I2 street models, end up going about 12.5 miles an hour. That's because they have a governor, but more on that later. First we'll get into turning. Now turning a Segway is they are all rubber mounted down here, so they pivot in this direction. So it's not like turning a bicycle or anything. It's simply grabbing the T handlebar and pulling it in the direction that you'd like to go. That's how you'll turn. Now with the combination of leaning forward and turning, you have full control of the Segway. But then that gets into the governor and more use on the Segway. There are 3 safety concerns that here at Seg City what we like to go over. Safety concern number 1 is that our wheels are the widest things on a Segway, and those are the things, if hit, most likely you'll take a tumble, and we don't want for that to happen. Safety is our number 1 concern here at Seg City. So what we ask is you keep what's called a 2-foot buffer. You can stick out your arms and make 2 feet wide everywhere around your Segway. We don't like anything in that area, especially other Segway riders. Believe it or not, when you're standing or posing for a picture, what ends up happening is your tires end up hitting each other. And since that's the case, your Segway can't balance you or move its tires if something's in the way, so you'll fall. Item number 2 is on the seawall here. There's lots of pedestrians, and we like to take it nice and slow. We don't want to alarm them by zooming right by them. And safety concern number 3 is the governor, which I mentioned earlier. It prevents you from going faster than its top speed, which on the I2 street models is 12.5 miles an hour. Now how it does that is the front T handlebar will start pulling back towards you. And that can be alarming the first time that happens. So what you want to do is simply fall back with it just a little bit, and everything will go back to normal, the same space from your hips to the T handlebars in a Segway. But if you fight it, however, it can get a little out of control. Because the harder you fight the Segway, the harder it's going to fight you back to push you back to normal equilibrium. Now, when that's the case, you can end up losing control. That's not good. One more thing I'll throw at you for riding Segways is the first time you get on a Segway, what I see a lot here working at Seg City is you get on and then you shake a little bit on the Segway. That's just because you're getting used to the 1/100th of a second delay that the gyroscopes take to sense where you are. Whereas when you're standing on ground, it's instant. There's no delay. Well, that's all. Hope you enjoyed how to ride a Segway. Thanks, and come visit us at Seg City at Corpus Christi.